Jazz, freedom, improvisation. A raw, unfiltered burst of human life, carved out of joy, pain, hunger, and fire. A language without rules. A sound born from surviving what should have broken you. But behind the brilliance, something else was playing. A darker rhythm, a shadow. Heroin. A drug that seduced creativity, shaped the sound of an era, and destroyed the musicians who defined it. Tonight, we step inside the smoke-filled world behind the music, where talent soared, spirits cracked. The same drug that fueled the night stole the morning. To understand jazz, you must confront its darkest rhythm. Heroin and jazz, a connection so infamous it became legend. Charlie Parker, the alto god who played like the universe was collapsing through a horn. Miles Davis, cool, quiet, razor sharp, always 2 steps ahead of the future. John Coltrane, a tenor prophet seeking God through sound, nearly lost himself before clawing his way back to sobriety and spiritual fire. Why did so many fall into the same trap? Some said heroin opened emotional doors, made the world slow down, stretching time between the notes. A shortcut to melancholy, a portal to intensity. But for every door it opened, it slammed 10 others shut. And the myth survived long after the musicians didn't.
A lot of your colleagues died from drugs, from heroin. You had a heroin habit. You kicked it cold turkey and went on. How did you stop?
Was heroin a muse or a murderer of creativity? There's a seductive idea that suffering creates genius, that brilliance requires a wound. Jazz was born from struggle, racism, poverty, exclusion. For many black musicians, pain wasn't a concept, it was daily reality. The music was the release valve, the one place where the world finally made sense. But when the nights grew long and the pressure to perform sharpened, escape came in powdered form. Heroin promised focus. Heroin promised calm. Heroin promised transcendence. Every promise was a lie. Bill Evans, introspective pianist, creator of floating harmonies, carried addiction like a shadow behind every whisper soft chord.
Now jazz, as we tend to look at it, is a style. But I feel that jazz is not so much a style as a process of making music. It's the process of making music, making 1 minute's music in 1 minute's time. Whereas when you compose, you can make 1 minute's music and take 3 months to compose 1 minute's music. Now that's the only basic difference.
Musicians said heroin made them looser, freer, smoother. But listen closely. The tragedies outweighed every note the drug ever inspired. I thought heroin helped me play, but in the end, it played me. The line between inspiration and destruction is razor thin. Many realized too late which side they were standing on. Heroin didn't make them geniuses. Their genius made heroin harder to escape. To understand heroin and jazz, you must understand the world that shaped it. Jazz wasn't born in clean studios. It was born in late-night basements and crowded bars, where the excluded gathered to exhale. Musicians faced constant touring, exploitation, racial violence, a society that loved the music but not the people who made it. Addiction didn't emerge in a vacuum. It emerged from pressure, injustice, and survival. Thelonious Monk, a rhythmic architect, genius of angular melodies, battled mental health and an industry that never gave him peace. Dizzy Gillespie, trumpet virtuoso, ambassador of bebop, watched friends fall even as he chose the harder path of sobriety. Heroin became the silent partner of jazz, always present, rarely addressed. You can hear its ghost in the slow ballads, in the wailing solos, in the moments where a horn sounds like a man running from something he cannot outrun. The melancholy wasn't a stylistic choice, it was lived experience. Heroin became the offbeat, the quiet rhythm behind the music. Behind the haze and neon glow of jazz lies a truth far less romantic. The industry was never built to protect the musicians who created their sound. Clubs made money, labels made money, managers made money, everyone profited, except the artists pouring their souls out on stage every night. In the 1940s and 50s, jazz wasn't a path to fame. It was a job, a hard one, unstable, underpaid, unforgiving. Musicians traveled for hours for a single gig, slept in broken down hotels, if they could get a room at all, earned less than the bartender, got cheated by promoters, and if they complained, they were replaced. Heroin fit perfectly into the system. A cheap escape, a way to sleep, a way to keep going when the world wouldn't let them stop. Dealers operated inside the clubs. Some club owners looked the other way. Some encouraged it, because an addicted musician was a controllable musician. This wasn't a world of glamorous rebels. It was a workplace where pain became the part of the business model. Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Chet Baker. They weren't just victims of a drug. They were victims of a structure that left them exposed and exhausted. Heroin wasn't a disease. It was the symptom. The real sickness was a system that demanded infinite creativity while consuming the people behind it.
I mean, jazz is a certain process that's not an intellectual process. You use your intellect to take apart the materials and learn to understand them and learn to work with them. But actually it takes years and years and years of playing to develop the facility so that you can forget all of that and just relax and just play.
The music sounded free, but the musicians who made it often weren't. Their brilliance survived, but many of the artists didn't. Jazz teaches freedom, improvisation, courage. Heroin teaches something else, that escape is not the same as liberation. The music endures, not because of addiction, but in spite of it. In every trembling trumpet line, every brushed snare, every whispering piano chord, you hear the voices of those who lived, suffered, created, endured. Their brilliance survives, their warnings echo, and their music, pure, painful, beautiful, still plays.